boys and girls, it's Colin back again. Today we're going to look at lessons on the motorway. That's a highway, the big main road. You'll often go from Belfast towards Enniskillen, or a highway up to M1, M2, M3 and around Belfast or any parts of the world. We're going to sing one way, because when you're going on a motorway, it's so important you're going the right way. You can't go the wrong way or it'll be a disaster. One way, Jesus.
Times it's you I see. I put you first, that's all I need. I humble all I am onto you. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. You're the only one. You're the only one, you're the only one that I could live for. You're the only one, you're the only one, you're the only one that I could live for. You are always there, every now and everywhere. Press the blood so deep within me. You will never ever change. Yesterday, today, the same. Forever till forever meets no end. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for.
Really interesting song. One way, Jesus, you're the only one that I could live for. Right now we're going to go outside to the motorway. I'm going to put on my yellow, bright fluorescent jacket, have a look at the motorway and all the vehicles going up and down. Here we go. G'day boys and girls. When I'm out walking here close to the motorway, you might think, what am I doing? Am I picking up litter? Am I checking to make sure the railing's tight, secure? All of this here. But I'm actually just observing the motorway. I love to watch traffic. I love to watch cars. And whenever I remember being at primary school, and we used to do tallies, and you were told to go to your road, close to where you live, and you'd count all the cars that drove past, the colour of it, where it was a lorry, a car, a motorbike, etc. And that was all to do with statistics you were learning about. But whenever I'm on the roads here, the motorway, it's amazing how busy it is. It just constantly goes day and night. There are times when it's busier than others. For example, early morning traffic, people finish work, they drive home and it gets congested, it gets busier and busier and busier. Whenever I think about the motorway, for example, this is Moira, and if I was to go that way, it takes me to Enniskillen. You're passing by Lurgan, Portadown, Craigavon, and you eventually get to Ballygolly, then to Enniskillen. And if I was to go this way, it stops at Lisburn, and the next turn off is Belfast. So if I was to go from Lisburn to Belfast, the motorway is the quickest way to go. Now, there are many other ways. I can take the Hillhall Road, the Country Road, or I can take the Lisburn Road, or you can go any way, and it'll eventually get you to Belfast. But whenever I think about the motorway, it's the main way, it's the best road, it's a smooth road. And whenever I think about heaven, there's only one way to heaven. Some people think there's many ways to heaven. If you're good enough, you can go to heaven. If you pay lots of money, you can go to heaven. Or there's many other ways. If you live a really old life and you're good to your neighbours, you'll go to heaven as well. But that's not the case. The Bible clearly teaches there's only one way to heaven, and Jesus is that only way. Being a good person's good. Having lots of money is a benefit, of course, in life. If you live to your old age, it's a nice thing, but you can't control that, though. You can lose your money, you can lose your health, all these things. But the motorway, whenever I think there are exceptions to the motorway, for example, tractor drivers, tractors not allowed in the motorway, whether I think it's because it drives too slowly. My dad, for example, he drives very slowly. And one day he was on the motorway and the police stopped him. And he thought, what have I done wrong? I've never been convicted of a crime. And I said, Mr. Tinsley, you're driving too slow on the motorway. You're going to have to drive faster or come off the motorway because it's dangerous if you drive too slow. Mopeds are not allowed in the motorway. Bicycles are not allowed in the motorway. Or if you're learning to drive, you're not allowed in the motorway because it's a very fast road. You can drive at 70 miles an hour. That's driving very fast. You need to be a confident driver, a good driver, so there's exceptions to that. But whenever God says about going to heaven and following him, he said there's no exceptions, there's no rules. He says, come to me, come unto me. And that's what I love about the Christian life. There's not all these rules about what you must do, what you must become to be a Christian. He says, just come as you are, and it's beautiful and it's lovely. And whenever I think about the motorway, there's cars, really, really fancy cars, really fast cars. There's some old cars, some vintage cars. There's some big, big lorries. There's some old lorries. And I thought every one of them, if their vehicle's good and the driver's got a license, they can drive their vehicle on the motorway. And I don't know, when I look at the traffic, I don't know who's driving it. It could be a man or a woman, hopefully not a child, a man, a woman, an older person. It could be a wealthy person. It could be a poor person. It could be somebody from any country in the world. It doesn't make any difference. They're entitled to be on that road. And that's another thing about God. God doesn't make exceptions. He doesn't say, no, okay, you can be a Christian. I don't like you. You can't be. Okay, you're accepted. No, he says to everyone, come unto me. He doesn't make any difference between people. He gives everyone right across the whole world, he gives them the same opportunity to come to him, to come to heaven, to be with him. Also, whenever I think about the motorway, the condition of the motorway is almost perfect. It has to be. Really good road. You never find potholes on a motorway. Americans call them the highway. On some parts of the world I've been in, there could be 10 lanes, maybe 5 going this way, 5 coming out this way. For example, in England or America, it's congested with traffic, thousands of vehicles on the road. So the road needs to be really good quality. The tarmac needs to be right. When it rains, the water needs to run off it quickly into the drains. Otherwise, if you're driving quickly, you come into a flood, you'll aquaplane across the road and cause all sorts of problems. Likewise, if you have an accident on the road, the motorway, you get a puncture, you can be sure somebody will come to help you because there's emergency phones, or the police will come to get you. And it's the same way with the Christian life. Sometimes you can be going along the Christian life, you can get a puncture. It's a figure of speech. In other words, things can go wrong. You can have a problem, and right away God is there to help you. He doesn't leave you on your own. He says, I will never leave you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to keep you. But the secret is to follow me. Stay close to me. Get into the habit of reading about me. Get into the habit of talking with me. So whenever something goes wrong, you get a flat tire, or something goes wrong with your family, with school, you're struggling, whatever, or you're worried about something, if you're in the habit of talking to God in the good times, then when the hard time comes, when the dark days come, you can always keep talking to God because you're used to talking to him. And I thought about the traffic at night time. You know the traffic are busy. Can you hear the traffic? But you can also see the lights coming continually in the distance, and they keep coming. And that's how you know, because you can see the lights. And I think about Jesus. Jesus said, I am the light of the world. Whenever you follow me, you'll not walk in darkness. He also says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter, and he shall be saved. He says, come to me, I'll save you. I'll rescue you. I'm the light of the world. And whenever you follow me, you'll not walk in darkness. I've tried this before, driving along a country road and relying on the lights of my car. And I thought, I'm going to turn my lights off to see what happens. And I turned my lights off, and I scared the life out of myself because suddenly it was so dark, and very quickly I could have drove into the hedge. And I thought, wow, our car is so important that it's good condition to be able to drive, and the lights must work because you can't drive in the darkness without the light. And it's like going through life trying to be a Christian, hoping to go to heaven. If you don't have the light of the world, if you don't have the light of Jesus Christ in your heart and your sins forgiven, then you can't be with God in heaven, because he is that light, and you must have the light within you. So whenever I think about the motorway, coming and going, there's bends, there's twists, there's hills, there's downhills, and the motorway, you have to keep driving. And another thing, whenever you're driving somewhere and you don't know where you're going, you can put what's called the GPS, your sat nav, either on your phone, wherever, or you can drop a pin. And that pin will show you exactly where you have to go. It's incredible, the technology today. If I'm trying to find someone in a field or a farmer, so the person says, I'll drop you a pin. And I thought, is that a pin you sew with? It's a pin on your phone, and it will take you exactly the quickest way down the motorway, across the road, across the country, the best way, not as the crow flies across the country, but as the traffic can drive safely on the roads. And that will take you exactly where you need to go. There are many ways I can turn off to the right or to the left, and it'll eventually get me there. But don't miss the important lesson. There are many ways to a destination on the roads, but there's only one way to God, and that way is through his lovely Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. He says, if you've got the Son, you've got life. But if you don't have the Son of God, you don't have life. Remember that lesson. The next time you're driving down the motorway, there are many ways to where you're going, but there's only one way to God. As I was driving down the motorway, I realised there are many shops, service stations along the way you can stop and rest. For example, the car might need refuel, I might need a coffee or tea, toilet break, and these are important as you drive along the motorway, especially if you're tired. And likewise in the Christian life, it's important to rest in the Lord, it's important to stop and to refuel, and that's why we read our Bible, why we pray, why we do school assemblies, is to keep our focus on God, who's the one to give us life to enjoy. So in the meantime, I'm going to give myself a wee coffee here, and maybe a wee bun. Do you want a wee drink? Here, in the meantime, I'll see you next time. Bye. Wow, really enjoyed that. The motorbike. I love driving, but when you're driving, it's so important to be careful because the traffic's very fast and it can be very, very dangerous. You need to be alert at all times. I like the wee part about the rest. Come aside and rest a while and get a wee cup of tea. One way God said to get to heaven. Jesus is the only way. I hope you were singing along and helping me out there. I love that. That's an old favourite. One way God said to get to heaven, Jesus is the only way. It's such an old song, but the message never ever changes. You know why? Because Jesus is the only way to get to heaven. That's all for me, Colin, today. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching. Bye.